Saturday night, good win. Did just exactly what we needed to do. Very proud of our guys. Our preparation, I think, has been pretty intentional the last 2 weeks. And so I'm proud of our guys. Thankful for our crowd. I thought the increased attendance was noticeable. You could hear it. Thankful for our students. I appreciate the Tech students coming out. I think there was 1,500 more than the week before, and that was noticeable. If we can get that next jump at the next home game, that'll be huge. But I appreciate them coming out, all of them. The ones that were loud and the ones that stood up and cheered, and they were really, really proud. I'm just thankful for them and want to create a great game day environment and recognize that we have to put a good product out on the field, and we're going to keep trying to do our part. And I'm thankful for our fans and the community that came out, and especially the Tech students, because there was a lot more of them. Appreciative of them. This week, Arizona. Arizona is a very talented, will be the most talented team we played so far. Obviously, their skill is really good. Khalil Tate has been there for several years, very familiar with him. Dual threat guy, throws the ball very well, and when he pulls it and runs, he's a threat to hit a home run every single time. 21, 23 is a good combo. Running backs, shifty, but they got home run speed, and you saw that, or you've seen that on tape we have so far. The two linebackers are the two guys that really make their team go. 1 and 7. Just watching them early this morning, this year, studied them a lot over the summer and early summer. Those two guys can play, Schooler and Fields, and man, what a combo Marcel has, really, to kind of build a defense around. Speaking of their staff, known Coach Sumlin for quite a while, respect him. Both coordinators we've gone against as a staff. Coach Patterson's gone against Coach Mazzone when he was at UCLA in the Pac-12 several years ago. We've gone against Marcel a couple years at Boise, Utah State. Had some good battles out there in the West, so we're very familiar with their staff in terms of their coordinators and all that. But a very, very talented, skillful team that if you let it turn into a track meet, you could get in trouble real quick. And they have got the speed to hit home runs, and they're very talented. So with that, I'll go ahead and open it up for any questions.
Coach, I know you talked about Khalil Tate and his dual threat ability. Do you kind of recall a player that was kind of like him? I guess you can kind of go into, what you kind of knew about him early on and what type of athlete he's developed into. Early
on, trying to recruit him. And then it got too big for us. But dual threat, he's has when he pulls it on the triple, which is essentially what they're doing. He's a threat to run it more than a lot of other quarterbacks. He can flip it out on bubbles and nows. He can pull it out of mesh reads, pure double option, pure triple. All that stuff, but he's a threat. +1 run game is a major threat, and it makes you as a defensive staff or a defensive coordinator, you got to rethink all your pressures and all your pressure packages, so you're always sound against the option.
How nice is it when you're trying to prepare for a guy like that to have a guy on your own team like Jet, who, if you wanted to, could maybe recreate that type of athlete, that type of speed at the position?
Yeah, it'd be a lot closer than Bowman doing it.
The first few games of the season, you've had such a balanced attack with your receivers, multiple guys having 4 or more catches. How crucial is that type of balance for your offense moving forward?
The balance between
balanced workload, like each receiver getting like 4 or more catches.
Yeah, it's. I think it's just kind of the way we're rotating. Some of those guys don't keep playing well, then some of those other guys will keep getting more reps, and it will not be balanced. And then you'll ask me that, and I'll say I don't care as long as we're completing the balls. But as long as we have guys that merit playing time and they're playing well at a high level, then we'll continue to rotate a lot of those guys. Obviously, we'd like to keep them fresh because of the pace that we play and how many reps we'd like to play on offense. But It doesn't matter to me who catches it. I'm not worried about that. The guys that are catching it are the guys that are getting open, and they're making plays Monday through Friday and earning that right to play on Saturday.
The Tony Brentford game, his first sack, I guess how much work did he get? 'Cause I know he was obviously coming back from a little bit of an injury, or pardon me, he wasn't able to play the first game. So I guess how much did you kind of see from him?
Yeah, he really missed the first game. He had a family situation he needed to go home and take care of. Tony's played well in practice. I think we mentioned him late in August as one of the highlights, really, the freshman class that was coming out of training camp and just missed the first week. Good to see him. He's an active player. He's got a good motor. Reminds you of 53 a little bit, just how hard he plays the game, plays passionate, really hard worker, cares about the game. North Shore High School, really good program he came from, knows how to practices really well, which makes him a little bit mature beyond his years in terms of being 18 years old. The kid knows how to practice because he's fortunate enough to come from a program that's I got a lot of respect for, and I think they practice really hard. I've seen them practice for a number of years, and I think that's given him a leg up as a freshman to come in here and compete earlier.
What's been the most impressive aspect of the defensive play through the first 2 weeks?
Third downs, getting off the field.
With that in mind, you said you want the defense in general, your philosophy is you want them to be the aggressors towards the offense. Where have you seen that aggression build throughout the first couple of games?
Probably early in the series, we've been getting TFLs, getting them behind the chains, putting the first two opponents, behind the chains, and it changes your second down calls, and you're trying to get half the call, and then all of a sudden you've got teams in third medium, and now Coach Patterson has the whole playbook. And that's probably not the spot. You want, third and medium to really more long. We've gotten teams in long, but we've done a great job of getting off the field. Proud of our defense. I think they've given up 2 third down conversions, 4 to each game. I may be wrong. I'm not off too far. But and again, no matter who the opponent is, that's really good defense, and they're giving our offense a chance to get in a rhythm. And that's what we need because the style of offense that we play.
You mentioned the danger of getting in a track meet, I think it was, with Arizona. When you have two high-powered offenses that like to move fast, is that just something that may happen just over the course of the game?
Yeah, and I'm not scared of getting a track meet with them. Don't get me wrong. We were trying to talk about playing defense earlier, and I think that's what that was in relation to. Our defense doesn't want to get in a track meet with them. Nobody does. We don't want to get in a track meet with anybody. And then we're certainly going to face some similar teams in the Big 12. And there may be a day that, we're struggling on defense, and we will have to match serve for serve, and we're going to have to outscore somebody. And then the reality is that game we're going to have to win on special teams. And then there may be a game this week, maybe down the road, where we don't play as well on offense, and we're going to need to win 24-21, and we're going to have to win the game on defense, and we're going to have something in special teams that wins the game for us in special teams. And I think that's something as you build a team and a program that you're aware of, we talk about, and we're going to start preparing for.
You mentioned their running game, a couple of shifty running backs. They went over 400 yards this past week. You've slowed down a couple of running teams that rely heavily on the run. How do you think your team has done tackling-wise, and how does the run game you face compare to what you're about to face?
This will be the biggest test of the year so far. It's not even that close. I think we've tackled well in space, and I think we have our biggest challenge of the year Saturday night, tackling the space. So I'm excited to coach our guys and watch them doing that, because this will be the biggest test we've had so far. We'll have to play our best game of the year so far to win Saturday night.
When you have two games that on the scoreboard with pretty large margins of victory, when you get into a closer game like you might have against Arizona and your team's mental toughness is tested, are there moments of adversity you can pick out in the first two games that you can reflect back on to kind of help with that?
Yeah, I mean, until the game gets out of hand and there's really a checkmate, I think the game is always in question. And we're playing in terms of offense and defense with the full playbook or the full game plan for that week. And there's moments that you go through early in some of those games whether, it's a unsuccessful offensive series or you have miscommunication, you give up a touchdown on defense, how you're going to respond to that. But certainly Saturday night will be our biggest challenge. I'm not in the prediction business. I don't know what you just said to be true or not to be true, but we're planning for that in practice all the time. And I think, I look forward to watching our guys handle some adversity. And how that plays out after that, we'll all see together.
Your defense has held opposing offenses to, I believe it's 4 of 30 on third down conversion attempts. What do you think has been the biggest reason as to why you've been so successful on third down? Is there like a specific position group that's excelled in those situations, or is it just like an overall group effort on defense?
So I was right. 4? That's what we said a while ago. I think probably the best part of that, again, is getting teams behind the chains early in the count, early in the downs, the series, whatever it's called. But we hadn't been in very many third and shorts. Chances go up getting off the field.
You've mentioned how, in general, that it takes quarterbacks some time to get into your offense. How far away are we from Coach Yost really letting Allen just let him loose in the offense, let him kind of throw more downfield, or how
Why
far
don't
is
you
it?
define for me, let it loose?
Just letting him throw more downfield passes compared to the screens and whatnot. You mentioned last week how when a quarterback starts out, he generally doesn't have as much of a leash to do that as much as.
No. That's when I said when a quarterback starts out in this offense, he doesn't have as long a leash in terms of checking plays and calling his own plays. Alan Bowman, so far in 2 games, first year with Coach Yost, is probably calling more now than 2 years ago when we installed this offense. And I don't know how it would be compared to Coach Yost quarterbacks in the years that he's had them, but I would say in terms of his play calling leeway, he gets to call a little bit of the game right now. He's checking certain plays. So
How much or what percentage would you say?
I will not put a percentage on that. Solid question, fair question. I'm just refusing to answer that question.
You said after the first game you weren't particularly.
I don't know the answer either. Don't ask Yost either.
You said after the first game you weren't particularly happy with some parts of the special teams. How are you feeling about them after the second game?
Oh, better. We still had things to clean up. I thought our kickoff coverage was a lot better. We're a little bit better on kickoff return. I like our battery right now. Our freshmen are, they're performing well. I would anticipate teams continuing to try to heat us up on punt, so we're going to have to stand in there and protect punts. I know for a long time, and we're ready to do that. We're prepared to do that because we're on the flip side. We're going to make people block us too. So, I think we were better in teams, but we've got a lot of guys that we're still trying to define some roles too. We got a lot of players playing teams right now, which I like. I like it's getting spread out, but there's still room to improve. I think just when you talk about the specialists in general, I think really all 3 of them have done well. We couldn't have had a better start for 2 true freshmen and a redshirt freshman. Trey's come out. He's gotten in a good rhythm. He's kicked off well. Austin's hung the ball up really, really good. And I think Luke's performed well. So all 3 of those guys I'm happy with. And a new holder. Mark Richardson's done a nice job.
Speaking of Mark Richardson, what did he do to get that job?
Is he what?
What did he do to get that job? Mark Richardson.
He's the best holder in the program. Caught the ball, put it down, did his job. And the kickers like him.
When it comes to freshmen on offense,
It's actually a lot harder than you think
Well, I mean,
to do that. There's not very many in this program that can do that. In any program, that's a skill. First of all, you got to get in an awkward stance to do it too.
Did you ever do that since you were a quarterback?
I did. I held in high school and college.
when it comes to freshmen,
You want to ask me something else?
All right, well, let's just stay on special teams for a moment.
No, I thought you were going to stay on those lines.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So what else makes a good holder then, besides the obvious good hands?
He's got to have a little savvy. He's got to have good hands. You got to be able to turn the laces. He's got to be able to tilt the ball at the right angle. He's got to be able to, throw the ball on a fake and all that stuff.
And how many guys did you look at to do that? How many guys did you look at in camp?
Well, I gave everybody the opportunity to do it, but not very many of them wanted to, so we didn't look at that many. That's the way it is every year.
And staying on special teams for a moment,
I'm coming back.
how is your on punting? Is your operation time where you want it to be?
No, it's close, but no. We got to speed it up a little bit. That's why they're going to heat us up.
A lot of time
We'll be ready for it.
Yeah, a lot of time with freshmen on offense and defense, when you talk about their availability to come in and play immediately, you talk about adjusting to the speed of the game. Is it the same thing on special teams? Is there an adjustment that they have to make when they go from a high school to a college level? Or is it
Talking about
just
the kicker or the other positions?
kicker and punter? Is it just adapting to the pressure of the college game, or what is that adjustment that they make?
Yeah, I think it's just the stadium, the ability to do it in front of more people. Yeah, Saturdays, learning how to play. Playing quarterback, similar. Kicking, that's a unique skill that those kids have done. Snapping, kicking, holding, kicking off their whole life. And there's not that much difference, especially if you got a kicker that's kicked off the ground like in the state of Texas. But punting and snapping, you can do that anywhere in the country.
Coach, I know you kind of talked a little bit about Dalton Rigdon on Saturday after the game, but for him to obviously score his first touchdown is a big deal, but he's just been really consistent and he's made the routine plays consistently.
Yeah.
What do you like about his approach, just being a West Texas kid and being somebody who is a walk-on and kind of comes to work every day? What do you like the most about his approach to the game?
Yeah, he's just got a lunch pail type of attitude. I mean, he's a local kid, tough as nails. He's consistent. I said that, I think, Saturday night in here. You know what you're getting with Dalton every single day, every practice, every off-season workout. He's never on a list. He's never late for anything. He does everything right. He does all the ordinary things extremely well. And then all of a sudden, he makes a guy miss, and he's got legit speed, and he can get out and run. And I just appreciate and respect his consistency.
Coach, you mentioned the linebacking core for Arizona. What else about their defense really stands out?
They're active up front. They got active hands. Their D-line moves quite a bit. They do some movement with them, but the two guys that you see just pop all over tape are 1 and 7.
On your, on your kickers, has Trey Wolf done enough that he has won the job, or when considering Garibay has been down with whatever injury, could Garibay take that job over when he has had enough reps to be back to normal again?
Yeah, maybe so. We'll see. All those jobs are continued to be earned, I think, weekly in practice, but certainly the longer Trey goes in games and the consistency that he shows in games is part of his resume as well. And I'm very, very aware of that. He's done a really nice job in field goals as well as kicking off.
What are your thoughts on your offensive line play, specifically with you having to play Ruffy at left tackle the past 2 games?
We moved Travis to left tackle in the spring, so I think Travis has done a nice job. He has graded out well, played with a lot better pad level in the second game than he did the first game. The ability for him to play either spot, I think, helps our O-line. And we've talked about this a lot. We like to dual train those guys up front. Inside guys, center spot, guards to go either side. Every now and then we'll have some guys that are right side guys only, but Bruffy's got the ability to play both left and right. He's got game experience at both.
What did you like from Tazon, especially on that first possession? He had a lot of touches and was really active.
The best thing I liked about Tay in the first possession is he played a lot of plays. And that was something that Coach Yost challenged our offense, is just play one more play than the week before. Stay in longer, and he challenged those skill kids not to, kind of challenge the coaches, really, not to sub them out. And so I was proud of Tay, but I was also, the rest of those offensive skill guys that first possession really pushed the limit.
What did you see from Vasher that really led to the day that he had, just from throughout the week and during the game itself?
TJ's been pretty consistent the last few weeks. It's just a matter of getting him the ball and getting him in space and being accurate with the ball. And TJ's got such a huge catch radius. He's very, very quarterback friendly.
Got time for about 2 more. 1 more.
What's your how will you
Why is
think?
everybody behind you smiling right now?
We can't just let this end when he says 2 more.
I know they're all grinning right now.
How prepared are y'all to play in somebody else's stadium, you think?
Well, by Friday we'll be as well prepared as we can be. I think so much of it is your mental preparation and your investment throughout the week. We've got to choose victory. I mean, we got to choose victory every day in what we eat, how we sleep, what we put in our body, how we talk, everything, the investment, the practice. Today having the best Monday practice of the year. It's the best opponent we've played all year. It'll be the hardest environment because it's our first game on the road. Certainly know that. I've been in that stadium, and that crowd's loud. Been in there at a bowl game. I've been in there as an opposing coach on the other sidelines, and so it'll be the biggest challenge we've had all year.
Has anybody been updated from day to day to full go?
No, sir.
Do you have any road traditions that you're kind of bringing to this team in terms of how you dress for the plane or whatever before the game?
We'll wear the same travel gear. The biggest thing I think with the road game, we may do a couple things different, but I think the biggest thing for our players and for young kids in general is you try to keep it as the same and as routine as you can, even though you're in a different environment and it's a different stadium and the colors are different and it's not your own locker room, and you understand that, but you try to do things to get them comfortable with it as soon as you can. And you have to understand you're winning the game Monday through Friday. You have to earn the right to win, and you have to do that during the week. And so that'll be a great environment. It's a really good opponent and a staff that we respect, and it'll be a good college football game.
Just being consistent with each other and everybody just doing their job.
What do you see from Arizona that can, what about their offense could pose problems for you guys?
I haven't really analyzed Arizona just yet, but I know that their quarterback is a dual threat, so I'm pretty sure he can make plays with his feet.
Last time the Texas Tech team went to the state of Arizona, Kalen Balazs scored 8 touchdowns. How do you stop a dynamic player from wreaking havoc once again?
Just doing your job.
Is it kind of nice to now get to play? I mean, the last 2 weeks it's been big margins of victory for you guys. Now getting to play a Power 5 team with a much more dynamic offense. Are you excited for the challenge?
Yeah, I think for the secondary the past 2 weeks it hasn't really been that much action because the front seven are like stopping the run. So it gives us an opportunity to make plays in the back end this week.
Do you find yourself playing better against a dual threat quarterback, or would you rather go up against somebody who's going to drop back and throw the ball 80 yards on?
I think I'd rather play a dual threat. It's just a bigger challenge, so I want to play the best quarterback each week.
Obviously, discipline is going to be the key. For you, what's part of that? It's just eye discipline, not coming up when he breaks the pocket. For you, what's that key?
The main thing in the back end is just having your eyes on the right thing and the right keys all the time.
What are some of the things from Saturday that you're going to take and try to work on this week?
Probably my eye discipline in the post instead of like taking underneath routes and just, I guess, jumping the route before he actually throws the ball.
Who graded out the best from that defensive back group on Saturday?
I did.
What's your final score?
I think I graded like a 97.
Were you overall pleased with your performance? I mean, you feel like that's the best game that you've played so far?
I don't think so. I feel like I left things on the table. But I mean, like, as in coverage-wise, I was sound, but as in my aspect, I need to make more plays.
You said how impressive the front seven has been. What for you, when you've watched the tape, has made them so good. What have you been most impressed about with their performances through 2 games?
The way they close space, like, it's like they know the play before it's even ran, and like they don't give us a chance to make any tackles. So that's good.
We've talked a few times about how fast the offense runs in practice, and you guys are getting used to working that tempo on the defensive side. How much slower is the game action because of that you're used to going 100 miles an hour in practice, and in the game things have slowed down considerably?
Yeah, it's a big difference. Like, I guess because it's not Big 12 conference yet, but the offense are going a whole lot slower, and it's like, I guess it's just easier on us to allow us to identify formations.
Have you had the thought in a game like, y'all can speed this up, we're ready to go?
All the time.
Doug, can you kind of speak to what Zach's been able to do? I know he wasn't able to get the interception last weekend, but just in terms of his development so far.
Yeah, Zach has made great improvements coming from Penn State and quick transition, and I think he stepped up pretty well.
How does Adrian complement you in the back there, in the secondary?
Adrian is like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, I know I can just leave him over there by himself, and he knows what to do, and he can handle it on his own. So I can worry about maybe helping his backside corner instead of trying to help him in the post.
Last couple of possessions, like for y'all as a unit, you tried to get that shot. And I know Wells mentioned on Saturday that maybe they were coaching you guys a little bit harder as you try to keep them at 0.
I mean, I understand about the shutout, but at the same time, we need to have experience. So the twos had to go.
How frustrating was it to finally get that turnover and it's a pick 6, but it gets called back?
It's very frustrating because that would have been our first actual turnover of the year. But I mean, we just got to stay patient and know that they're coming.
What does Leggett bring to the table when he comes in and he's back on safety?
He's a very aggressive safety, so I know he can stop the run at any moment, and that's what he brings.
Coach Wells talked about the fact that you guys are 4 for 30 when it comes to allowing offenses to convert on third down. What do you think the biggest reason for your third down defense success is? Is it a specific position group or an overall effort? Or?
Well, we often go into nickel, but at the same time, we look at third down as our money down. So I guess our focus and our intensity just ups when it gets on third down because knowing we have to get off the field.
It's not on the same side of the ball, but you see somebody like Dalton Rigdon come in. He's a West Texas kid. He's a walk-on. And to be able to watch his kind of evolution as a player and to score his first touchdown in his career on Saturday, what separates him? I mean, what's something that you like about having him as a teammate?
It's exciting to see Dalton, to see how hard he's worked in practice. He makes plays in practice all the time. And just to see him finally showcase his speed for everyone, it's amazing.
Douglas, what kind of mentality do you think you'll have to have going on the road to play another Power 5 team for the first time?
I think we just have to stay disciplined and stay with our game plan that the coaches provide us.
Since y'all will be in somebody else's stadium, how well has y'all's communication been so far? Just being able to hear each other and not have busts.
It's been pretty well. Everyone knows what everyone else has to do. So if someone doesn't know, like the way we communicate across the field, it allows that person to catch up.
Always being a starter is, a great honor to me, to anybody, honestly, to be a starter. The battles, everybody goes through battles. So it's just good to have competition and, the back and forth to, make sure each player is as good as possible.
What's the most fun thing about this offense for you as a lineman?
Running the ball. Yeah, I like to run the ball, I like to get pancakes, man. That's why we're here.
You kind of speak to the guys kind of coming up, like a Travis Bruff moving to left tackle, Weston kind of coming in when Jack was hurt. I guess what have you kind of seen from these guys being able to play at a high level when they've had to come in?
I mean, honestly, from like day one in spring ball, Coach Farmer, Coach Wells, we've always been taught we need to have at least 10 people who can play at any given time. And, as long as we're ready, there's no problem. Like if somebody goes down, we'll have somebody step up and we feel just as comfortable having them.
What do you see from Arizona defensively that can pose problems for you guys on their pass rush?
I was just watching some Arizona film too, honestly. But I mean, they got a pretty solid D line. I mean, it's gonna be pretty fun running the ball against them. You know, they got some good hands over there, some speed off the ball. But I mean, we'll be prepared for them.
No disrespect to the UTEPs and the Montana States of the world, was it nice to get a Power 5 opponent this week?
Honestly, it doesn't matter to me because it's the next team, and this is the biggest game that we have. I mean, because it's the next game.
Were you pleased with what the offensive line was able to do up front with the absence of Jack and Terrence?
I was pleased, but, you know, we could always be better. That's how I see it. So we're just back to the drawing board.
What do you more experienced guys have to do? What have y'all kind of done to help Casey and Weston and Zach kind of get comfortable and get in the flow?
I mean, you know, whenever it's your first time playing, get the butterflies and whatnot. So, you know, we just try to calm them down. You know, once they get their feet wet, they get warm to it, they understand how it goes, and it's just like practice, if not even easier.
You playing next to Dawson, how is he kind of taking control of that center position, and what does he bring to the offense?
Dawson's doing a great job. I mean, he has great communication. There's nobody who's second-guessing him. And he's just, you know, leading the charge. Whenever we get a big play, he's the first one down there, already, you know, on the ball and everything, and that just helps us go faster.
For you, did you have to adapt at all to the new kind of offense that's very screen-heavy in the way that you block and the way that you play?
I mean, it's hard to say. I suppose, yeah, I did do some adaptation. I mean, it's new staff and, you know, just buy in, and it was just easy.
Can you kind of describe how Steve Farmer is as a coach and how that's going to help you kind of get that much better going into this role?
Coach Farmer, he's a great man, you know. He's a guy that I can always go to, you know, ask questions. He has an open door policy. If anybody has any kind of problems, he's always there to help you out. And, I mean, he's just a great dude to communicate with, and he's helped us out throughout the O-line, starters to freshmen.
Has there been a teaching technique or a learning lesson he's given to you that's really going to help you?
My square pulls, like before, I was pretty bad at pulling, so, you know, he's, you know, shown us a pretty decent way to pull, and it's been pretty effective.
A road tradition that you do every time? You got or a superstition on the road that you keep?
Oh, I actually don't think I do, but I mean, some people on the team probably do. I'd say if I did have one, it'd probably be making sure I play a lot of Chief Keef on the plane. So that's about it.
Madison, especially being one of the big guys, how well have you handled the tempo offense so far?
I mean, spring ball and everything, so I feel like we handled it pretty well, and I feel like, you know, it's just like practice and just how it was day when we first started with this offense.
Among you offensive linemen, who is the who's generally the fastest guy to the ball, or who's kind of the leader? Who's the one that the tempo bothers the least?
I would have to say either Terrence Steele or Travis Bruffy. And, you know, it's great to see them, you know, running to the ball, asking for the ball from the wideouts or anybody, you know, just making sure that we can go even faster than before.
What's impressed you most about that group of running backs behind you?
It's just the dog they have, honestly, because, I mean, everybody's trying to fight for every inch they can get, and it's just, you know, whenever you see that kind of fight in a person, it always makes you want to go harder for them.
Have you gotten used to the tight end being next to you? I know we talked to you earlier.
Yeah, I definitely have. I mean, it was kind of weird at first hearing another voice outside of Travis, but I mean, we got used to it, so it's cool now.
Can you tell the difference between tight ends, or is it just another body next to you?
Yeah, it's just a body, man.